Hi everybody, my name is Rory Spowers, and for most of my adult life I've been researching, writing and campaigning around the various global issues that we now see converging in what some are calling the meta-crisis. In 2019 I launched an educational media platform called the Regeneration, which aims to distill the core thinking that many believe would provide the source codes for a new civilizational model that global civil society could aspire to create within the collapsing shell of the old. In May 2020, I published a long essay, Is the Virus Our Vaccine?, which you can read as a PDF or listen to as an audio file on the Regeneration website. And this was an attempt to contextualise the ideological roots of the current crisis, while also highlighting the fundamental shift in scientific worldviews that is now occurring. And now, we're hugely excited to invite you all to join us on a collaborative and co-creative journey called The Way It Could Be. And our primary intention here is to flip the focus from a constant analysis of competing narratives, most of which point to a rather dystopian future, into a positive and hopeful aspiration for a more protopian world built upon self-reliance, resilience and regeneration. So regardless of which narrative makes sense to you, we believe that the content we will be presenting over the coming weeks and months just makes sense, irrespective of what you may think is unfolding. There is more than sufficient evidence out there that we're heading into perilous times and some sort of collapse scenario is bearing down upon us. And given that information, what can we all be doing as individuals, families, businesses and communities to bring back control over our essential human needs and thereby reduce our dependence on fragile supply lines and centralised infrastructure? So through a combination of podcasts, dialogues and instructional practical videos, we will be learning from members of my own local community here in Ibiza, as well as dialing in experts and luminaries from around the globe, investigating areas from rainwater harvesting and rebuilding topsoil to solar and wind power cooperatives, alternative currencies and community regeneration projects. How can we be as over-engineered as possible for the worst-case scenarios that might be coming down the pipe? How can we maximise our food, water and energy security and build solidarity and resilience into our communities? And how can we regain our sovereignty as human beings in the process, transforming us from passive consumers back into being proactively engaged citizens? This journey will take us through the 6 areas that we've identified in the Regeneration programme: food, health, economics, community, culture and consciousness. Food. It all starts with food and water, our most essential basic biological needs. We'll not only explore the exciting world of regenerative agriculture, but also the opportunities that we all have, even in restricted urban areas, to boost our nutritional self-reliance. From local community-supported agriculture projects through to domestic indoor growing techniques such as microgreens and medicinal mushrooms, which also open up new economic opportunities. Health. Healthy soil equals healthy food equals healthy people equals a healthy society. We will see that by regenerating the topsoil and the food system, we at the same time can rebuild the microbiome in our gut, which is so essential for the human immune system. We will also explore the many other steps we can take to boost our immunity and thereby reduce our reliance on overburdened healthcare systems. And we'll also address our psychological response to the crisis. How do we transmute this sense of fear and uncertainty into a sense of meaning and purpose and empowerment? Economics. We'll look at steps we can all take to bypass the volatility of the mainstream economy, developing as much resilience as we can locally through localisation initiatives and alternative currencies. Community. As these top-down forces of atomisation and polarisation continue, how can we maximise solidarity in our communities, forming tight reciprocal bonds and local regenerative nodal hubs? Culture. As a culture, we feel it's time to ask some really fundamental questions about our relationship to science and technology. How do we develop discipline and discernment in the digital landscape? How do we make sense of what is unfolding and find credible voices and sources that we can trust? And what role can artists, musicians and other creatives play within this process, bringing us all together on this collective journey? And finally, consciousness. The escalating crisis is forcing us all to ask some difficult and poignant questions around human identity. How do we deal with the dehumanising aspects of our rapidly changing world? And how is the new scientific worldview shedding new insights on the mysteries of consciousness itself? We believe that humanity has a huge opportunity now to mass mobilise and shift our current trajectory, if a critical mass can come together and engage with these issues. Nobody has all the answers and nobody has a crystal ball. But we do believe that the inspiration and the pathways to action are all out there. We just need to transition from a conceptual understanding into tangible physical implementation. So, please join us on this journey by going to the regeneration.me right now and subscribing to our mailing list so that we can keep you informed as this new content becomes available. A longer introductory video for the journey ahead will be made available over the coming days before we start our real explorations with food and water. And finally, as the old activist saying goes, if not us, then who? And if not now, then when? Thank you very much indeed for listening.